What is going on, my friends? Today we're taking a look at what I'm calling the Rapid Penetrator. This build was specifically made to level a rogue in Season 1 as fast and efficiently as possible. This build utilizes not one, but two core skills. We use Penetrating Shot for massive map clearing on mobs, and Rapid Fire is the burn down shielded elites and bosses. This is easily the most satisfying rogue build for leveling, and I'm really excited to share this one with the community. The Rapid Penetrator has lightning fast attack speed, which we have for a very important reason. I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Gives you insane map clearing potential, and it feels oh so sweet to nuke your entire screen with a well-placed penetrating shot. The Rapid Penetrator build has incredible survivability, endless energy regeneration, which allows you to spam rapid fire on bosses, and overall it's a fun, high damage rogue build that is capable of clearing everything in Diablo 4. The Rapid Penetrator is perfect for jumping into Season 1 to farm XP and level quickly. If you enjoy the lightning fast attack speed, ranged rogue playstyle that can delete your entire screen with one click, then this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to build this ranged assassin. We're going to go over skill tree points, gear, aspects, gems, paragon points, glyphs, and basic damage combos from mobs and elites. Now before we get into it, please make sure you give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel with the YouTube algorithms, and it would be greatly appreciated. Let's jump into the skill tree. Our basic skill is Puncture and Fundamental Puncture. Yes, it's great that it slows the enemy, it also makes them vulnerable, but the reason we're using Puncture in this build is to generate combo points. Core skills, we got 1 in a Sturdy, 3 in a Siphoning Strike. This is very important to your overall survivability. Since our attack speed is so fast, enemies get close to you often, you are healing yourself as you are dealing damage. That is hugely beneficial to your overall survivability. Now we put 5 into Penetrating Shot and we put 1 into Advanced Penetrating Shot because it knocks down elite enemies for almost 2 seconds, and as soon as you knock them down, that's when you want to drop them with a rapid fire. And speaking of rapid fire, put 5 in a rapid fire and we go over to improved rapid fire so we can continue to use this ability as a machine gun. As long as you are hitting an enemy with rapid fire, you will not run out of energy, so you can spam this as long as you want. Agility skills, we have 3 points in a Weapon Mastery, we have 2 in the Shadow Step. You can put 1 point here if you prefer. I actually just like to have that little bit of extra damage, so if I do Shadow Step to an enemy, kill that enemy, I get that refund on that Shadow Step immediately. I like to have that there. And also on the sub node, this is a flex spot here, so you can either go with Disciplined or Methodical, and that totally depends on your playstyle. It's not going to change the build at all. If you want to stun the enemy, go right ahead. If you prefer to have a reduced cooldown, go with Disciplined Shadow Step. Subterfuge skills, we have 3 into Exploit, 3 into Malice, and 5 into Dark Shroud. Make sure you have a minimum of 5 here because this is your survivability tool. Now when we combine our Dark Shroud and our healing ability with Siphoning Strike with our attack speed, every time we critically strike an enemy, we are healing ourselves, and on top of that, we're adding a Dark Shroud. So if you get what I'm saying here, as you are damaging the enemies, you are healing and adding Dark Shrouds to yourself non-stop. So therefore, you have a massive plus 50% damage reduction, and those constant trickling of heals keeps you alive no matter what you're doing. Now on the sub node here, you can go with Subverting Dark Shroud, which I prefer because it adds a lot of speed, so you can actually just level a lot faster. But if you don't have high critical strike chance, you can absolutely go with Countering Dark Shroud if you prefer. Imbuement skills, we have 3 points in a Precision Imbuement, 1 Shadow Crash, 2 into Consuming Shadows. We have this here for energy regeneration, so every time we kill an enemy with Shadow, we're generating 20 energy. Now on top of that, every time we use Rapid Fire, we're generating an additional 15 energy per cast. So you can literally spam this as you are hitting shadowed enemies endlessly as long as you want. Now moving back over to Shadow Imbuement, you only really need 1 point into this. I have a couple extra points, so I put that in there. Now moving over to Blended, the reason we use the Shadow Imbuement is to make everybody vulnerable. And the next 3 points right here are the most important in the entire build. Now, when we combine these 3 points with the gear, the aspects, and the Paragon points that we have set up, this percentage goes into the multiple hundreds of percent damage. So don't skip out on these 3 points. Very, very important. Ultimate skills, we have 3 points into Adrenaline Rush and 3 points into Haste for that added movement speed. For our key passive, we have 2 options now. You can go with Precision to get that 40% increase on critical strike damage, or you can go with Close Quarters Combat. Now, Shadow Step is a cutthroat skill. Therefore, you can benefit greatly from Close Quarters Combat, and it was recently buffed in the last patch. It went from an increase of 20% damage to an increase of 30%. So this comes down to personal preference right here. Starting off with the helm, what you're looking for here is an increase in your attack speed along with max life in the aspect, which gives you a 20% damage reduction. On the chest, we're looking for max life, and you want to put the aspect that gives you a damage reduction from crowd-controlled enemies. For our gloves, we're using Frostburn. Now, when we combine this with our insanely fast attack speed, we are literally freezing every enemy around us. And when they're frozen, that's when you do incredible amounts of damage. Now on the legs, what you're looking for is plus ranks of Dark Shroud. Get as many as possible. Reroll your gear if you have to. Whatever you need to do, make sure you're getting those extra ranks of Dark Shroud because it just makes you that much more tankier. And here is the aspect that keeps you alive, keeps you rolling, keeps you crushing those enemies on that map, and you don't have to slow down. So when you get a critical strike with a marksman skill, which is both of your main core skills, you are getting an additional Dark Shroud refunded to you. And since you're attacking so fast, you're always going to have multiple Dark Shrouds around you. Therefore, you don't have to worry about any enemies around you. All you have to do is keep striking them down with your core skills. These will be refunded to you, and you can just start mowing things down across the board, and you won't have to stop or slow down, have to worry about any energy regen or your health or nothing. This is massively important for this build. For our boots, we're using Pennants and Greaves. If you don't have these yet, just look for some boots that have extra evade. These will drop for you at some point. As soon as you get them, equip these, and your damage gets amplified even that much more. What you're looking for on your bow is damage to chilled and distant enemies, along with adding some extra critical strike damage. Now, the reason we have the rapid fire aspect here is because when you're going up against a large group of enemies, and all of those mobs are surrounding the elite enemy that has a barrier around it, you want to chip away at that barrier and that health as much as possible. And as many rapid fire ricochets that are going around will take that barrier down even that much faster. So this helps dramatically in clearing maps quicker. On your amulet, what you're looking for is plus movement speed along with plus ranks of weapon mastery, or if you have plus ranks of frigid finesse, even better because it will amplify the chill and frozen damage that much more. Now, the aspect I have on this amulet increases our attack speed by 38%. Again, we want that attack speed as fast as possible so we can replenish those Dark Shrouds and heal ourselves, and on top of that dish out even more damage. So this is critical to put it right here. Taking a look at our first ring, what you want here is critical strike chance, max life, and you want to put the aspect here that adds the extra arrows into penetrating shot. You don't need to put this on your bow or your amulet at all because you're just map clearing, you're clearing mobs, you're knocking down elites, so it's not going to help you that much to take this aspect and put it over here to add damage to it because you just simply don't need that extra damage. So you want to amplify your attack speed as much as possible, so it's totally fine to put it on your ring. For the second ring, this is actually a pretty close to a perfect setup here. So we have plus max life, plus critical strike chance, plus critical strike damage, plus physical damage. And again, we want more attack speed. So basic skills gain a percentage of attack speed. We always want to be adding attack speed for those Dark Shrouds and the heals. Taking a look at our melee weapons, our first one is Condemnation. Now, this adds a lot of damage to our core skills. If you don't have it yet, totally fine. You can put in a dagger or a sword that adds critical strike damage. And as soon as you get Condemnation, make sure you put that in because it does amplify your damage greatly. Now, moving over to our other melee weapon, you want to have a sword here that adds critical strike damage, along with putting the aspect of when you're sprinkling in puncture, you're adding even more damage to your core skills, and that's exactly what we want to do on a combo point build. Gems, we want damage reduction on our armor, we want critical strike damage on our weapons, and we also want armor on our rings and amulet. Specializations, as mentioned before, this is a combo point build, so make sure that you're going with combo points here. Taking a look at the Paragon board, this is the basic Paragon board. Now you can pause the video at any time, or I will also include a link down below so you can go to the website and check that out if you prefer. But the glyph that we're using on the basic Paragon board is Ranger to amplify our marksman skill damage. Taking a look at Paragon board number 2, we are using Exploit Weakness along with the glyph Frost Feeder. So when we combine Frost Feeder, the boots we're wearing, the gloves we're wearing, and Frigid Finesse, it gets into the multiple hundreds of percent. So make sure that you have Frost Feeder in that second board. Taking a look at Paragon board number 3, so we're going with Tricks of the Trade, and our glyph is to add physical damage with Chip. Board number 4 is Leyrana's Instinct along with the glyph Combat to add critical strike damage to our core skills. Taking a look at the 5th Paragon board, this is Deadly Ambush along with the glyph Exploit that adds more vulnerable damage. Taking a look at our 6th and final Paragon board here, so we have Cheap Shot to add 25% damage to crowd-controlled enemies, along with adding the glyph Control to add even that much more damage to crowd-controlled enemies. How to do the damage combo. Now always have your Shadow and Dark Shrouds on at all times before entering battle. Then all you need to do is hit Puncture to apply vulnerability and generate combo points. Now once you have 3 points, you hit Penetrating Shot and blow everything up. If you got a few stragglers, finish them off with Rapid Fire. That is going to wrap up the Rapid Penetrator Rogue build for Diablo 4. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned something new, please consider supporting the channel by liking, commenting, or subscribing so you don't miss any future Diablo 4 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.